Now, if I play keys on my keyboard, nothing is happening because I haven't told Pro Tools where to send the MIDI information to. Where do those ones and zeros go? And to do that, I need to set the input and output. Now, I could go to my mixer and set input and output, but I'm going to show you a little thing with the edit window where I can add other columns right in the edit window, anything from my mixer. For example, there's I/O, and that will show up in a column here. So the first box here tells me where it's receiving input from. It's set to all, but I might want to receive input only from my Triton, which means if I banged on my hand sonic, nothing would come in. But I'm going to leave it at all. And then where do the MIDI notes go to? And that I want to send to my Triton. Each MIDI instrument can have 16 channels, and some MIDI instruments allow you to have multiple banks of 16 channels. So I'll send it to Triton Extreme Channel 1. The track is highlighted here. I will play, and let's see if we have a sound. Well, that sounds pretty good. Now, the reason I'm getting that sound is because when I play my keyboard, it's sending a MIDI note to Pro Tools, which is then turning around and sending it back to the highlighted track, which is here, to the Triton Extreme. If I change this to something else, like my hand sonic, it would send those notes from my Triton now to the hand sonic and would play whatever sound I have my hand sonic set to. The reason this happens is because I have under my options menu, MIDI through checked. If MIDI through is off, then when I play my keyboard, it will not send those notes back to you. It will record the notes, and when I play them back, it will play them, but I won't hear them as I'm putting them in. So usually you want to have MIDI through checked. But this poses a problem because you have your keyboard or controller set to output audio to your mixer or your audio interface. When you play your keyboard, even when you're not using Pro Tools, you can usually hear a sound. But at the same time, now that I'm in Pro Tools, I'm sending MIDI notes to Pro Tools, and I've set my track to send those notes back and play my keyboard, which means that if I play a note on my keyboard, I will hear it first directly out of the keyboard, and then Pro Tools will send a message to play that same note back again. So I'll actually hear the note twice, slightly offset by the delay it takes to go through Pro Tools and back again. That's not a good thing. So what you want to do is look for something on your keyboard called local mode. Almost all keyboards, drum machines, and anything that makes a sound will have a local mode, and you need to turn that off. That means when you're disconnected from Pro Tools, or when you don't have a MIDI track enabled talking to that keyboard, you will not hear any sound when you play your keyboard. But when I do enable a track and direct the output back to my keyboard, I will hear the note, but only once now, because Pro Tools is in control. So in the next lesson, we'll go ahead and record some MIDI notes.